Wow, Josh, it's so nice to see you. How are you?
It's so good to see you. I'm doing fabulous. Thank you. Thank you,
And you
Lisa.
are wearing your Trump man sweatshirt
That's
just for tonight.
yeah, on the back, I would show you the back, but I'm so comfortable in my chair. It's got like red all over the United States, and it says Trump has better coverage than 5G. Can you hear us now? So it's a good one. I wear it to the
Oh,
gym, and people just
I
get
love
out
it.
of my way. It's all good. So.
That's great. Well, you know what, guys? Tonight we know that our 47th president is giving his first speech. And so we don't want to hang you up guys too long. We're going to be going about 30 minutes and just kind of boom, 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 taking questions. If you all can send them in, that would be fantastic. And we have Josh, who is a wealth of information, or Joe Rogan of Cardio Miracle. Amazing, amazing things gonna happening here and how we can help and answer your questions. Because really right now is a chance that each and every one of you can have access to this phenomenal product. More and more information is coming down the pike, but very good. Any questions out there?
Yes, we do have a question. First question had come in earlier from an Ernest, and he would like to know about the organic foods in Cardio Miracle and the process for that.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a specific answer that the organic fruit and vegetables that are grown, they're grown without synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, or other chemicals, and it's all certified. So, the biggest thing that we can control as a company is whether or not we want to put extra money towards the kind of the observation of how all that works. Within our manufacturer and where they're sourcing it from and all of that. And that's one of the biggest expenses, I would say, that John does not skimp on and that he's not willing to cut corners on, which
Right.
should be a testament in itself, as to how much we care about our customers and care about the efficacy and the purity of the products in Cardio Miracle. And that is something that we will always stay true to, and we will always make top priority, and never skimp on that.
And I really appreciate that because nowadays, especially since COVID, there's a lot of products out there with really pretty labels and they might speak to your need and your concern and your fears out there. But really, it goes a long way to say that Cardi Miracles put a lot into not only the sourcing the products, but also in the studies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super important.
Yeah, the studies, if you go to www.cardiomiracle.com/studies, you'll be able to find all of our studies that we've had done. And it's so great that our IT team has put that together so that we can share that with others. And if people dive into those studies, I'll tell you what, it's like if if people are doubting anything about Cardio Miracle, if you're worried about where the fruit comes from, where the vegetables come from, where it's sourced or whatnot, go read those studies. And if your mind isn't blown all over the wall, you'll be able to stay focused and read the unbelievable miracle that is Cardio Miracle, pun intended.
Yeah, you got it. Any other questions?
Yeah, that's great. Actually, in talking about the study, someone had asked, I had some serious symptoms post COVID. How can the nitric oxide and the vitamin D help me with that?
Do you want me to start, Josh?
Oh yeah, please. Yeah.
So one of the things, they actually nowadays we actually call vitamin D a hormone. And how it works in the body is it not only assists to regulate, and that's another thing that nitric oxide does. It's the master regulator in the body. So what COVID did is COVID came through and spiked our the microscopic little thin lining that's inside your veins and arteries, right? So we called it spike protein for a reason. And we see all these these pictures. So imagine what that looks like and how it is spiking your veins and arteries, and your tissues and so on, so that you're finding that you have lack of, you just don't have lack of energy, you have increasing fatigue, you have poor circulation. So one of the things that's super exciting, we always say that we don't treat, cure, or diagnose, but how awesome it is to have a product that literally increases blood flow. And that's one of the things that COVID did, is it slowed down the blood flow to the tips of your fingers, nose, and toes. And what happens is a lot of people would end up with white fingers, right? And they would just feel absolutely horrific. And we're seeing a lot of people that now are looking back and going, you know what? I can't believe that I'm still not feeling good. Maybe it's been 1 or 2 years, the whole long haul COVID thing. But what I would do if it were me and I were in your circumstance, I would definitely start taking the product. If you're already taking it, I would increase it, at least 4 scoops a day. That would just be me, because now you're getting enough of the nitric oxide to help to push the blood flow throughout your body. The other thing we want to really pay attention to is the inflammation. So the inflammatory factor that takes place, with COVID, and left a lot of people debilitated to the degree that sometimes they can't get up a flight of stairs and so on. But I know Josh can speak into this too, but we've had probably hundreds, I won't say thousands, I will say hundreds of people that have come to Cardio Miracle, started taking it, and their life is completely turned around. So when you talk about aches and pains, the fogginess in your brain, maybe you just don't have the ability to make it through a day, and the circulation is the big challenge. And we know, we've all seen pictures of the clots, we've seen all these crazy things that are happening. Stay focused just on your health and stay focused on Cardio Miracle, because it really is a miracle.
Totally. And the vitamin D delivery is astonishing.
Yeah.
And it seems like every study that we do that has anything to do with blood markers, drawing blood, comparing blood, it's always the vitamin D that's like shooting
That's
out
right.
up, 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 up. And
Yeah.
so it's so exciting. And so, you know what? I actually spoke to someone last week. I was doing a podcast with this doctor that's got, or this really prestigious physical therapist kind of doctor, that MD, that he works with UFC fighters, and he helps them in between fights to get better so that they can, go get another payday. And he's got offices in Florida and Vegas and France. And so
Wow.
he's like, I want to get Cardio Miracle in every single one of my
Way to
clinics.
go.
Yeah, all over the place. And he said, because the biggest thing that it helps with, it seems, is the vitamin D. And he said, I
Mhm.
believe everyone in the world is deficient in vitamin D. And so he goes, Anyone that says they don't need vitamin D, they're not correct." So Cardio
Right.
Miracle, we've proven that when you're fasting and you're drinking Cardio Miracle, that it draws the vitamin D in your stored fat cells, which
Yeah.
is unbelievable. It's really cool.
Yeah. No, and you know what? There's many, many studies linking vitamin D to, brain health and autoimmune challenges. I mean, straight across the board. But, it started, I'm not going to get on my soapbox, I'll just take a little step up. But years ago, when we started studying what was happening, why was the vitamin D levels dropping in people in America? Well, did you know that the vitamin D levels started to drop the same time that we started to promote, sunscreen?
Mm.
So all of a sudden, you have all these people lathering on all the sunscreen. By the way, it's all chemically laden. And then you go bake out in the sun, or, oh, by the way, sun isn't good for you, right? So your body can't pick up that vitamin D that we're supposed to get from the sun. And then our food sources. The other thing, if you look at a product that has vitamin D put in it, let's say like a milk, for instance, if you're not drinking, let's say an organic milk, without fortified, what fortified means is we put a synthetic vitamin D in and your body doesn't recognize it. That's what's so exciting. I could talk for an hour about this. That's what's so exciting to me about the Cardio Miracle product, because in the study, what they found is that when you take the nitric oxide combined with the vitamin D in our product, and I think we're going to find that there's other pathways and synergistic experiences happening inside our body after we take the Cardio Miracle. But what happens is it pulls and unlocks the vitamin D that's been stored in our fat. So you might be taking, maybe you're taking 50,000 IUs a week of vitamin D, and maybe your numbers still aren't up there, because we ran into people like that. And then they start the Cardi Miracle product and boom, they come back in a month and they say, we don't know what's going on, but my vitamin D level is up. So thank you for asking that question, because that's really exciting to us.
No, yeah.
That's great, Lisa. And you had touched on autoimmune. There's actually a great question here from Judy. She said, we just started on Cardio Miracle, autoimmune issues. My husband has, what could we expect with him starting this program? He is taking 5 to 6 glasses a day. Should we expect some type of detoxing? Anyone have experience with this?
I'll let
Yeah,
you.
if you don't mind, Lisa. So I actually, when I started on a nitric oxide product, another one, it was because I had a severe autoimmune neurological issue that I was dealing with. And my dad, being the creator of Cardio Miracle, I'm so lucky that he was really insistent on me not doing, like, taking all the steroids and going and getting all the radiation and doing everything that I was doing, that I was going to do, because my wife at the time, she's a nurse. She wanted me to do everything that the doctors want me to do. So which is fine for some people, but for me, my dad was insistent that I start on this nitric oxide product, and yeah, I started taking. I had to take this product every hour of every day to keep the nitric oxide in my system. And what is so wonderful about Cardio Miracle is now, in order for me to keep nitric oxide in my system, I have to take 2 servings a day, just two. But at the beginning of my journey with even Cardio Miracle, when I made the switch, when my dad created the product, I started with a higher dose. So I was doing 4 to 6 servings a day so that I could get the nitric oxide, regulated in my system and all that. And I did like what's called a preloading phase. And sometimes we recommend that. Sometimes we don't, if someone has like a heart issue or whatnot. Again, we don't treat or diagnose. But the thing is that, yes, there was a detox. I kind of had what's called like a restructuring of my whole system, and that's your body getting used to and almost acclimating, but then regulating. So you'll get this regulation that'll happen because the nitric oxide is constantly going through your blood for 24 hours a day. And I just didn't have that with the last product, but it did take me a good, couple weeks of being consistent on the product every day for me to feel a significant difference. So that was my experience. I'm a big guy, I'm 6'3", 300 pounds plus, and we all know a lot of people know my story of getting up even higher because I was a strongman competitor. But Lisa, what has your experience been with dosing?
No, I think, you know what? I'm going to follow Dr. Judy. Dr. Judy talks about real, live, living food. So if you are going to, like, let's say you go down to, I spent a lot of time down at Hippocrates Clinic in Florida. What do they do when you get there? They give you high pH water, and then they give you a lot of fruits and vegetables and wheatgrass juice and so on. I think it's very difficult to overdose on food. And you're going to get, at the most, you're going to do is get an upset stomach. You might get bowel intolerance. So, because we do have a food grade, we're talking about whole food vitamin C. So sometimes if you might be taking the Cardi Miracle and maybe you have to take a little bit more. Like right now, there's all this stuff going on, upper respiratory stuff. People are sicker than ever. And so I'm just telling everybody, take the Cardi Miracle until you have bowel intolerance. And that's what we used to tell everybody with vitamin C. Take as much vitamin C as you can until your bowels don't tolerate it anymore. And then just back off. But also when you're taking the Cardi Miracle, it's really important to drink water. So what I would do is drink half your body weight in water in ounces. So if you're, 300 pounds, you want to do 150 ounces per day. And if you can, do the purified high pH water. And if you can also, don't do it in plastic bottles. There's a whole lot
What's
of
that?
big stuff coming out about that, right? Because of the microplastics. That's a whole nother program. But isn't it exciting that we have a product literally that no matter what questions we get asked, we have answers for? Because with over 700 nutrients in this product and 58 ingredients, I still to this day, Josh, don't know how your dad formulated this and put this together and made it taste good.
No.
And that's really shocking.
Yeah, especially with the additions like the lion's mane and the L-glutamine and
Yeah,
NAC, all that, like all these incredibly pertinent products like the lion's mane. It's really good for brain health, and
correct.
I hear like my algorithm in like Instagram, Facebook, it's out of control right now with L-glutamine. Like it's kind of crazy, but I'm learning more about glutamine than I have ever like studied before. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe there's just one of our 58 ingredients in corn miracle.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
Yeah,
amazing
we're
stuff.
so blessed.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, and on that note, Deborah had asked, and obviously Cardi Miracle having so many great nutrients, how can it help, how can it affect other issues like depression or arthritis?
Hey, you know what's really exciting about that, Josh? I just had a call yesterday from a lady that I'd met in Dallas through CC Blakeman with the federal feds, and she was talking about, of course, when you lose a loved one through COVID, you go through a lot. There's a lot of grieving. There's a lot of loss. Very, very sad situation, which I can't believe anybody would be possibly, prepared for. But what she told me is she said, I've only been on this product because I was really pushing it, with this whole wonderful organization of people that support one another. And I said, why don't you start taking that? You're taking it a couple times a day. Why don't you increase that to 4 and see how you feel? And she called me back yesterday. She said, you know what? The only way I can describe it is it's like I went and pulled all the shades up in my house. And she
Wow.
said, I basically feel different. And this is only a couple of weeks of taking it 4 times a day. So I think when you listen to Dr. Avery Jackson and Stan Graham that did the paper on the brain health and Cardi Miracle, and our veterans and PTSD, and how Dr. Avery explains how the nutrients cross the blood-brain barrier and actually start to work in the brain, and that our brain is as vascular as the rest of it. So there's hundreds of tiny little microscopic veins and arteries and capillary beds in our head. So that's so important. Sometimes when you think, oh, I get tired or maybe weepy, or you just feel like you don't have any energy, sometimes that's your brain not getting enough oxygen. And so what carries oxygen? Your blood. So when you take Cardi Miracle, crosses the blood-brain barrier, increases the blood flow to your head, you automatically feel like you're more awake, you're more alive, you feel like you have more energy. So I think I just really want to encourage everyone. If you're finding that, I'm just having an off day, or maybe you have an overwhelming amount of sadness or whatever it might be, please take more of the product, because you just touched on the lion's mane. The lion's mane is also excellent for brain health. And then also with inflammation, you're going to start lowering your inflammatory markers so that you won't feel achy. You won't feel like, you can't get through your day. So there's a lot of attributes definitely to that. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yes, totally. It's awesome. And that's John does talk about that. My dad, he talks about the many capillaries in your brain, and
Right.
how those are all being opened up and given oxygen, and it's a vasodilator.
Yeah.
So it's opening up and expanding, and that's the beauty, is like I love the analogy of opening up all the drapes in your house and having the sun come in. It's like
I
I'm
know.
alive, finally. It's like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. It's
But you
really
know, if you
good.
go back before we answer the next question, but if you go back to how we were designed as human beings, we're supposed to walk every once in a while in the grass. We're supposed to be able to run without getting tired. We're supposed to be able to move about. And it's because of, you can, I mean, Bobby Kennedy's talking about it right now, left and right, educating people on them. When you eat food that is loaded with chemicals and toxins, where do you think the chemicals and toxins go? Most of the time, they cross the blood-brain barrier as well. So now
Yeah.
you have toxins in your brain and you have toxins throughout your body, and they're preventing you from having ultimate health. So here we are, right? After all the insults to our body and our mankind in the last 3.5, 4 years, and people are desperately looking for the answers. So I also want to challenge everybody out there. If you know one or two people out there that might not be feeling 100% or having some challenges, please share this message with them, because that's John's goal, is to heal the hearts of mankind everywhere. And of course, it's our goal too. So please share it with as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah, and I did see another question about can teens or younger take the product? And I personally, all of my children take the product every day. And my children are right now, they're 11, 14, and 17. And my 17-year-old has been taking it since he was like 12, I think, or maybe even 10. But yeah, the thing is it's whole fruits and vegetables, right? And so we do tell people to not go really, really hard with it. Like, the fact that like I myself take 2 to 4 scoops a day or 2 to 4 servings a day.
Mm.
Sorry, I always get the scoops and servings mixed up. But I take 2 to 4 servings a day, and that for me works because like right now I'm in ketosis again. So I'm getting back in because I'm getting married in October. I gotta get this last weight off, and so I'm sleeping for 4 hours a night, and that's all I need. When I'm in ketosis, I like go back to my ancestors, like my caveman ancestors day, like where I only need to sleep, if the sun goes down and then the sun comes up, I'm awake, or even before that, obviously. So,
Wow.
but I get up, I get on the bike, and I go, and I'm doing the way that I'm getting into deep ketosis. Lisa, you're probably gonna be like, "What are you doing?" But I'm doing I'm only eating 2 prime rib a day, and just salt and cardio miracle. That's all I'm doing,
That's a
and
lion's diet. Isn't that the lion's diet?
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. But
yeah.
it's going to supercharge me into ketosis. And
Wow.
guess what? I did it for one day, and this morning I was full ketosis, and I tested my blood and everything, and that's what I do. But I
Wow.
love it because that means that I'm on my journey now, so I can get the last, I've got 50 pounds that I want to shed before October, and that's my goal, and I'm going to do it. So
Wow.
it's pretty exciting. So sorry, I just kind of threw that in there, but
Oh, that's
the
great.
the alertness that I have from not only being in ketosis, but then also with the cardio miracle, is it doesn't end your fast. One, really good point.
Right,
And two, it will not throw you out of ketosis. And that to me is everything for me. And
great.
so that's how I'm going to continue to shed.
You're doing so good. So if there's anybody out there that is thinking about, maybe you're on the carnivore diet, the lion's diet, or maybe you're just low carb or in the ketogenic diet, Cardi Miracle is the perfect partner for you for that. Because it gives you, I know one thing that they advise you, is this correct? They usually say, make sure you're getting your minerals.
Oh yeah.
If you're, so that's
Yeah,
what's
they
beautiful about the product.
Yeah, they say like as much salt and BCAAs as you can. And I'm telling you what, all I need, I do have a little bit of sea salt just for taste, on my 2 prime rib a day. but but I'm only doing this for like, a couple more days so that I can be in what's called deep ketosis. And then I'm gonna do like high just high protein, high fat, and it'll be fine. But it'll be exciting. But the thing is, the way that I can still get my 3 grams of only 3 grams of carbs, that's all
Yeah.
we have in Cardio Miracle. And it's
Yeah.
amazing that that's all we have. And so if I'm
And no
doing
sugar, no caffeine. If you're watching for the very first time, that's really important.
none of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and monk fruit and organic stevia, like none of that throws you out of ketosis. So it's really exciting and really I know it's kind of a side note there, but
No, it's
um
great.
yeah. Are there any other questions? Sorry, Elizabeth.
No, you're great.
No, that's awesome. Awesome, Josh. You guys are great. Actually, this is a perfect question for Lisa. I think this may be our last question tonight. Let's see. If someone has blockages, can Cardio Miracle help to dissolve the plaque? Also, will it help someone who has AFib?
Well, I can just say this. Of course, we don't treat, cure, diagnose. We aren't cardiologists. We don't want to give anybody the impression that we have the opportunity to, rotor all the, the arteries in the body. But we know one thing for sure is that you need blood flow. And nitric oxide is excellent for blood flow. And I would say, of course, for this call is to, follow your physician's advice. But at the same time, if it were me and I was in that type of situation, I would do a minimum of 4 servings of Cardio Miracle a day. Because number one, you have all the anti-inflammatories. You also have vitamin C, which will make your blood more viscous, meaning it's, the cells float against each other. They don't clot and collect. That's really important. There's been many studies on vitamin C and the lowering of inflammation inside the veins and arteries. So whatever type of blockage it is, you still are going to need great nutrition. So I would say again, if I were me, if I was you, I would take 4 scoops or 4 a day. And then just see how you feel. And even if you have to have some kind of intervention that, this would still be a great way to go. But Josh has actually a story about his father, which is the first story that I heard when I met them. And then my friend that was with me, she happened to be an atrial fib, believe it or not. And so we were both talking to John and Stan about the products, and she was talking about her atrial fib, and I was talking about my high blood pressure, and we were quite a pair. But we were talking about how could this product help both of us at the time. So she's been on the product for, I think, what is it, almost 3 years? And she has sustained herself in normal sinus rhythm, and she contributes it to Cardio Miracle. So atrial fib is when you have the abnormal beats, your heart doesn't beat properly, right? You have the abnormal beats in there. And the danger of that is always that you're going to blow a clot, right? You're going to develop a blood clot because your blood is not flowing perfectly. But again, with the Cardio Miracle, not only the nitric oxide to increase the blood flow, but for the inflammation that happens at the same time. And then, of course, you have all the other nutrients. Magnesium is super, super important for heart health. And we have a great magnesium in the product. So again, you're relaxing the veins and arteries, you're increasing the blood flow. So I would be very surprised if you didn't start feeling better after a short amount of time. And as far as the atrial fib goes, if it were me, I'd definitely be taking a minimum of 2 of the servings a day. And then going into, just see how your body feels. Again, we don't treat, cure, diagnose, but listen to your body.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and something I'd like to point out before we end here is someone very, very close to me, and she was 78 years old, I believe, and just a really good family friend. And I got her on the product early on when we first started in 2013. Wow. And it was pretty neat. And um, she actually started feeling this kind of flutter happening in her
Oh,
chest. So she rushed to the hospital, thought she was having a heart attack. And that's the thing, is that when you start waking things up inside of your system, and if you are taking 4 servings a day, you are going to feel something. And I'm not saying, like, we're not curing, diagnosing anything, or telling you not to, like, panic or anything like that. But just be mindful that if you feel things waking up, that's the process. And so we do say to kind of ramp up to that, so to speak. But there are times when people just want to feel an instant benefit and or an instant resolution or whatnot, and they'll just go for it right away. But that can be kind of scary for people to feel that when they haven't felt it in decades sometimes. And so I just want
Yeah.
people to be aware of that. So, yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Well, if we don't have any other questions, we're going to shut down so everybody can go and watch our president.
yeah.
Be encouraged, make America healthy again. We're right on the tip of the spear. And my goodness, if you haven't tried the product yet, if this is your very first call, please do so. Don't waste any time whatsoever and share it with as many people as possible. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Josh, you're the bomb. I love your shirt.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh my gosh,
So,
yes.
all right, one more thing. If you have any additional questions, please direct them to support@cardiomiracle.com. And then also, if everybody will please, if you'll go to the rumble.com and you'll search Cardio Miracle, please
Yes.
check out the interviews that Lisa and I are doing with these incredible doctors and these incredible people. We're doing
Yeah.
so many podcasts. It's called the Pulse Beat. We really want to throw a plug in there for that because we love what we're doing. We want to continue to be able to do what we're doing, and we're getting on other platforms. And yeah, thank you for putting that in the comments there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys please support us on the podcast. We're really excited about it, and we're just trying to interview as many people as we can and get the word out as well as we can. So we love you. Thank you so much for everything you're doing and the participation and the questions, and we love you guys so much. Thank you, Lisa.
God bless you. Thank you, Josh.